I always think about it. Mentally, especially your first time, your first encounter, there's really no way to prepare for it. I was only 15, but after that I just kind of realized like this is the real world and being black, in America.
He's among the best in high school basketball, ranked 3rd in the country. Paolo Banchero heads into his senior year already committed to Duke. A multi-sport athlete who's not just a champion on the hardwood, but on the gridiron too. In 2018, he helped Seattle's O'Day High School bring home the state trophy. The same year, the high school freshman would face a new reality. As an African-American teen, his fame and popularity offered no shield during his first encounter with police.
It was pretty kind of sudden. He just came up to the window and had his gun out, told us not to move.
It happened here at the White River Amphitheater in Auburn. Paolo and his friend were attending their first ever concert, Chris Brown. And as they were cruising the parking lot getting ready to head home, they say King County deputies targeted their car.
I was on my phone just sitting in the passenger seat. I remember, just driving my phone.
In the police report, the King County Sheriff's deputy wrote the vehicle was likely stolen, which it was not, and initiated a felony stop. The deputy approached the car with his gun drawn, pointed right at the kids.
We asked the officer over and over, actually, why he had his gun out, just because we were so confused.
While police ordered his buddy out, forced him against the car, and handcuffed him, Paolo was organizing his own strategy on what to do.
Just don't make any sudden movements.
He was remembering the talk with his mother.
Don't run. Like one of the main things, don't run. Just keep your hands where, they can see him.
Paolo's mom warned, even coached her son on what to do if he was ever stopped by police before he could even drive. Now, if you're white, this might be hard to believe, but it's the reality for families of color. It's the talk we have with our kids to keep them safe.
It's not a conversation that you and I can't have. We have to have that it is tantamount to their survival.
Here is the critical question about that night. Were Paolo and his friend racially profiled? We don't know. King County doesn't keep data on the race of people stopped. Neither do the Seattle or Tacoma police departments. It is not required by law.
The safety of these boys on that night was predicated on their decision making as inexperienced teenagers, as opposed to the decision making of trained officers, who I don't think needed to draw the weapon.
Paolo's dad, Mario Banchero. Do you think, Dad, that this would have happened if those boys were white in a car at the amphitheater?
Not at all. I just don't.
Statistics back up Mario's feelings. The Stanford Open Policing Project found Washington State Patrol troopers during a traffic stop are far more likely to search blacks, Hispanics, and especially Native Americans than whites.
America done painted this picture of the black person, especially the black male, that he's a threat.
Eldridge Rickasner of Bellevue is a former NBA player and UW Hall of Famer.
Eldridge Rickasner for 3.
And just like with Paolo, star athlete status has not protected him from police stopping him repeatedly.
Being black in America, it's a challenge and it's stressful. I'm tired. I'm tired of turning on the TV seeing unarmed black men just getting shot down like animals.
Eldridge and his wife Karen are the parents of 4, 3 girls, and Manny, their only boy.
For a black person, when your son turns 16, you got to have that talk, and it's heartbreaking. We're talking about an organization that's supposed to protect and serve, but we're teaching our kids how they got to act a certain way so they don't end up dead. And that's horrifying.
Eldridge told us since Manny's learning to drive, he was about to give him the talk. We asked if we could tag along. He agreed.
But you don't say anything until they ask you something. And I want to you to keep your hands either where I have my hands at right here on the steering wheel or on the dashboard so they can see them at all times.
Then he tells him he has rights.
If you ever get pulled over by a police officer and you don't think that they're being fair for you, you have a right to call 911.
And Eldridge reminds him to use his best manners.
Just make sure you have your hands visible where you can see them and that you're being real respectful. Yes, officer, no officer, when they ask you a question and when you answer. All right, buddy, bud, we're gonna let you jump in the driver's seat. Come on. And you also have a right to video the police officer. Do you feel like it's a situation where he's asking you to step out of the vehicle because he wants to get confrontational? You just say, no, sir, I'm calling 911 and I'm asking for another officer.
Especially with the recent high-profile events, Manny says he's taking the talk to heart.
I see people on the news, black people, black men, getting killed for no reason, and I don't want to be like them.
2 years after a deputy pointed a gun at Paulo, he still gets nervous when he's on the road and sees police.
A lot of people, whether they admit it or not, just naturally feel more threatened when they see, a black person, which I think is unfair just because, it's nothing but the color of someone's skin.
Now, he's not just telling his story, he's giving voice to the cause.
I just didn't want to, stay quiet, because I feel like if you're quiet about it, then you're kind of part of the problem.
While Paulo fights for change, there's still so much work to do. And that means parents with children of color will continue to have the talk.
I do think the talks that I had with him saved his life that night.